I wanted to retouch on astrology and a little bit of the Meyers-Briggs and a couple numbers that are interesting. And yeah, that little picture of Wendy's, I just thought it was hilarious, so I thought I'd put it there. Okay, I did a very extensive one on this a while ago, and if it's not released, I go find it and re-release it for everybody. But it has to do with the 12 around the one, meaning the monad, or Jesus and the 12 apostles, the sun with the astrological signs, and even the Myers-Briggs plays off of this completely, and what all of this means. Um, there's like a seasonal thing that happens here. If we use the four elements, and again, I've covered before how there's only three elements, and fire is not an element but a transmutative force. But people can have that inside of them more than other people. So that's why it's considered within the astrological realm, because humans are already that. It just depends on how much of that you have in you. And some people don't have any. So from that level, from here, we can see that we'll use the four. And so those are the four seasons, the four elements, your four fingers you can look at, and that even plays a role in the Myers-Briggs test. And I put this thing up here at the top about the 144,000 because 12 times 12 is 144. And I spoke a little bit about the sun and the moon and the representation of those two important ideas within astrology. What is your sun and what is your moon sign? Because they represent like a conscious and a subconscious, or a unconscious part of you. And when people say, "Oh, I don't believe astrology," but then they take a Myers-Briggs and they're like, "Well, I'm an ISFP." It's like, well, no, you're not an ISFP. That's your tendencies, and the reason that you take these tests is to find out what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, and attempt to identify that and improve upon those things. And that's the same thing astrology does, because the goal is to be the monad, to be the center of the sun, to be the Jesus figure, to be what not only is at the center point of that wheel, that will, but what circles the outside as well and contains it all. And so there's a really interesting thing with the number 144. Um, and interestingly enough, it says from Pentecost of 33. 33. Remember, Jesus was hung on a cross at 33? Why? Because Jesus is a representation of your kundalini as well as your imagination, which is intimately connected. And the body that you wear has 33 vertebrae in your spine. And the bottom five are fused together, is where you get your tail or your sacrum, and it's where you secrete. It's your secret. That's your space of TAIL as well as your TALE. That's where everything is held. And so this number 33 comes up a lot within. Look at water and ice and what number that becomes thawed at. It's 33 degrees. 32 it freezes. You have 32 teeth. You have 30. You have 32, and then your skull on top, and so there's a crossing there. And this is the chrism, or the oil, the anointed oil. And it's also it's so connected to Freemasonry. Well, there's a lot more than you know that's going on here, and it's interesting to me that it's called the Pentecost, because a pent is a pentagram, or the pen. Everything about the pen, and I've done this many times. I'm not going to go too far into that here, because I've delivered this in other places. But the Pentecost basically is the five-sided body that you wear. It's the cost. This is what it costs. It costs putting your skin suit on. You're bearing the cross, which is, Allah, arm, leg, arm, head. It's the it's the tomb that you live in. All of these words are synonymous with what your body and your skin suit is. And so the idea of, to take this a little farther, is that you'll come across basically 12 people, archetypes in your life, very strong archetypes. And then, because people are mostly blind to astrology, they go, "Oh no, that's ridiculous. That doesn't matter. That doesn't make any sense." They don't understand that they were in the womb for 9 months, and there was 3 months they weren't in the womb for the year when the sun is traveling around. So those 3 months are literally the three types of energy that are not in their body, which equivocate to different types of salt. And when I say salt, I'm talking about the organic variety, which was given to the body through the womb. Now, those things are not present in babies. So you're missing that, and that's part of what month you're. If you were born in August, well, then September, October, and November, you weren't in the womb. You were created in December. And so those 9 months that you were in there is where you were imbued with the information of the sun. And this is why the way to collect that information to be a totality is through the people you come across, through the light frequencies, the sounds, and literally just consuming those kind of foods that you don't have in you. Those kind of, you call them the cell salts. Now, I have my reservations about whether or not those salts should be consumed, because I don't know if it's organic. If they're organic, I don't know that how they're pulling those out. So while I really love his research, I don't know about like right now, I don't know what company owns it, et cetera, et cetera. So it makes more sense to just find the foods that have the salts that you're missing. And we're looking at George Carey's work, God, Man, and the Word Made Flesh, and a few other of his books that will get right into the cell salts and where you were born. Now, those 12 archons or archetypes are basically the people you'll come across, and that gets multiplied to 144 because you got the moon now. So the sun and the moon are parts of this person's personality. So you're going to run into basically 144 kinds of people. But 12 essential, like really they're strong into those things. And it's coming to communion with that and your own self and those things that you don't have in you. You'll find that your next door neighbor, like for instance, if you're a Pisces, which makes you born in February until March, you're not going to get along with Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. In fact, Aries will be the most difficult for you to get along with because it was born right after you, and you weren't in the womb then, so you don't have information about that, nor do you have the Taurian or the Geministic qualities. Especially you don't have the Aries qualities because it is so close, and it's like, just think about your neighbor. Who's who's going to be the most problem for you? It's your neighbor. But on the other side, because you were born within that system, you were actually in the womb during Aquarius, or excuse me, did I do that back? No, that's the right month. Yeah. So because you're in the womb during Aquarius, you'll be able to get along with Aquarius, and then Capricorn a little more, Sagittarius even more, and Scorpio because it's the same. It triangulates you. It's the same element as you, so you can see, or excuse me, not Scorpio, but Libra. It's the same element as you. Is this right here? Let's see here. We started with Aquarius, and so yeah, you won't. I screwed that up. I drank a little kava, so I'm sorry if I'm stumbling on this, but I think you understand what I'm saying. So the Aquarius gets along with the Gemini and the Libra, and its next door neighbor Pisces it won't get along with, but it will get along with Capricorn, Sagittarius a little more, and just think the farther it is away, so you don't have to be so overwhelmed by like, oh, that's my neighbor and it's like that. And you'll get along that way. And so these are things that are literally not instilled within you through the light spectrum, as well as the food spectrum, just the energetic spectrum of the things that you'll come across. And so once you get all of those and you internalize all of those things, you sit in the middle of it all, and you don't have a sign per se. You're not assigned a personality. You're not assigned whatever that quality is, because you bypass it. You're just like, okay, I'm that, but I'm also that. And so there's certain signs that are more prevalent to being able to encompass the entire sign because of how dualistic they are to begin with. Now, all signs have qualities of dualism, and you can see that right in the picture. I mean, you've got the Cancer with its two claws, you've got the Taurus with its two horns, the Gemini with the two faces, the Aries with the two horns, the Pisces are the two fish, Capricorn two horns, Scorpio and Leo. Okay, and now Virgo and Leo are going to be stronger personalities, especially Leo. It's going to be just what it is. Aquarius is going to be very water, and Sagittarius is going to be very much what it is. So there's different signs that have like it's a staple. They're just that thing. But you can find that like everybody knows the Gemini that they have the capacity to be very dualistic or encompass everything because they can see all sides to something. And that goes for a lot of the other signs too, just to a little bit less degree. So this quality of understanding what things coordinate with you and what don't, and how to integrate those kind of energies into your life. That's the goal of understanding astrology. And see, you don't have to be a professional because everybody thinks they got to read cards real deep, and you got to get into this and know completely about how this works, and you got to know about the fourth house and in January this is what's going to happen. Like it kind of gets a little too far for most people, and I don't think you need to know all that. I think that people at that point, people get burdened by it. It becomes a lifestyle. I read cards and I know about astrology, and people are like, oh no, today is apparently the Mercury is in retrograde and this and that. Well, that's if you don't know really how it works or you're underneath it. But if you just go, no, that doesn't even matter to me because I'm all these things, and how do you become all those things? One of the great ways to do it is literally just ingest the sun. If you didn't ingest the sun as a child, or when you're in the womb, let's say you were born as a Libra, which would put you in September and October. That means you weren't in the womb for the months afterwards, which means Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Capricorn. You'd want to be in the sun those months because the angle of the sun and what it's growing, like outside and within you, that would be when you would most get those qualities within, back into you. And you can do this any time of the year, obviously. Any time of day, you're getting different angles of the sun. But by putting your feet on the ground, you're going to ingest the frequency of the earth as well as the sun, and be able to put all of those systems back in order within your body. I don't know where else I wanted to go with this. It was just kind of a little reminder that the astrology and Meyers-Briggs and what these archons are, what these archetypes are, who the apostles are and the disciples. They're just they identify astrotheology, meaning the signs out there of the lights coming in through the star systems, as well as something internal in your body that is connected to the salts in your body, which is also connected to I just tripped up on that. It's connected to, like I said, food that you eat, energies that are coming in. So yeah, just try to find what walk backwards from the month you're born, and that's the 3 that you need to look at, and then go study what that is. You go, oh yeah, of course, these are things that I might have a normal dilemma with, and try to find ways to integrate those things into your life. And you can do these things as simple as like playing games on a computer. Like there might be like, oh, you don't like this type of things, and you can find something, maybe it's structure, maybe it's order, and then you can do that, make that creative and fun. You can go into the kitchen and learn a way to cook that involves structure and order, and what do you get at the end of it? You get a delicious meal. So there's ways of doing this that you can integrate these systems into your consciousness and your body. So awesome, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk soon, and if you guys want any videos as usual, anything that you're interested in, feel free to put it below, and I'm going to do some new things soon where I'll take some questions from people, and maybe y'all can, maybe we'll do like I did this a while ago, like ask Zen a question for a friend kind of thing. so that way you can get my videos out to people that like really need to hear what I'm saying, but I'll direct it towards what their level of understanding is, and um, try to deliver whatever it is that you think they might require in a different way, so that they can, you know, because a lot of what I say like is pretty far out there. It's very specialized information for, I would say, a few of us: air, fire, earth, and water. For a few of the, you know, again, there's just different capacities, different levels of being, and so people that are coming up the ladder or want to like get out of their mindset or mind state, and if they're in a slump or whatever, wherever they are, feel free to ask me a question, and we'll get on that too. So stay awesome, pet a dog, be good to yourself, and be friendly to your neighbors too if you can. Cheers, yo.